Let's go on the record, and we need to speak about something that is affecting nearly everybody around us, and that is that 1 in 6 people on earth is currently dying of loneliness right now. I'm not speaking metaphorically, I am saying they are literally dying. There's about 871,000 deaths per year, 100 deaths every single hour. There is about 30% of teenage girls who have seriously considered suicide in the past year, which is a 62% increase in youth suicide since 2007. 61% of young adults report serious loneliness. And guys, these are not just estimates, these are not just predictions, these are verified statistics from the World Health Organization, the CDC, and Harvard University. Here is what gives me hope in all of that. We now have the evidence, we understand what the problem is, but most importantly, we know exactly how to fix it. And in a time when people have never been more connected, the truth is people have never been more isolated. This is the loneliness epidemic, and it is very real. And people aren't talking about it. And there's so much peer-reviewed research. There is an incredible amount of whistleblower documents. There is government data. And today I'm going to walk you through the evidence, and it's shocking. And then I'm going to explain the neuroscience of why this is happening. But most importantly, I'm going to show you the way out. Let's talk about it, because once you understand how your brain is being hijacked, then you can change it. If this topic resonates with you, if you think more people need to hear this, hit that follow button, join the family. We have new deep dives coming every single Thursday and Sunday. We're building a community here that chooses real connection over digital distraction, and I don't want you guys to miss what is coming next. Let's start with the facts here and the hope they give us. There is something called the 30-minute experiment that changed everything. In 2018, Dr. Melissa Hunt, she was at the University of Pennsylvania, she conducted what many consider to be the smoking gun study on social media and mental health. This was a study that proves that change is not only possible, but it can happen really quickly. Here's what she did. She took 143 college students and she randomly divided them into 2 different groups. The control group, they used Facebook, they used Instagram and Snapchat, however much they wanted. The experimental group was limited to just 10 minutes of platform per day, so that's 30 minutes across all 3 apps. Then they tracked their mental health for 3 weeks using validated psychological instruments. The results were immediate, but they were also undeniable. The group that cut back to 30 minutes, well, they showed significant reductions in both loneliness and depression compared to the other control group. I'm not talking just small effects. These were clinically meaningful changes that occurred in just 3 weeks. Think about that. In less time than it takes to form a habit, these students saw their mental health improve dramatically. Now, this effect was strongest for students who were already more depressed at the start of the study. Those who were struggling the most, well, they actually saw the greatest improvement. If you're struggling right now, this is for you. The research shows that you can feel measurably better in just 21 days. So this wasn't a correlational study where critics could argue causation. This was a randomized controlled trial. This was the gold standard for proving cause and effects. This was published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology in 2018, fully peer-reviewed. Dr. Hunt's conclusion was unambiguous. It said this, and I quote, "Our findings strongly suggest that limiting social media use to approximately 30 minutes per day may lead to significant improvement for well-being." And that means that really the solution is pretty verified too. You are not powerless here, you have a roadmap. I need to be honest with you about what we're up against, but I'm showing you this not to discourage you, but to empower you with the truth. Because when you understand the game, well, then you can stop playing the game. In October 2021, Frances Haugen, who is a former Facebook product manager, well, they actually leaked tens of thousands of internal company documents to the Wall Street Journal. These were documents that later became known as the Facebook files. So Facebook's own internal research from October 2019 titled Teen Mental Health Deep Dive, well, it found that 13.5% of UK teen girls, They said that Instagram made their suicidal thoughts more frequent. 17% of teen girls said that Instagram made their eating disorders worse, and that 32% of teen girls who already felt bad about their bodies felt even worse after using Instagram. Let me say that again. Nearly 1 in 3 teen girls who already struggled with body image, they felt worse after using Instagram. And Facebook knew this, they knew the data, they've done the research, and they intentionally buried it. So let's keep going. On October 3rd, 2021, Hagen released herself on CBS's 60 Minutes, and in that interview, she didn't mince words up, and I quote, "Facebook has realized that if they change their algorithm to be safer, people will spend less time on the site, they'll click less ads, and they'll make less money." So fast forward 2 days later, this is October 5th, 2021, she testified before the Senate Commerce Subcommittee. They were presenting evidence that would shake Silicon Valley to its core. Every statistic that I've decided, this is verified through multiple news sources, congressional testimony, even the leaked documents themselves. Here is what is important. Frances Haugen didn't just expose the problem, she gave us the ammunition to actually be able to fight back. And look, you are not imagining this, you are not weak. The platform is literally designed to exploit us. And now that you know that, you can start to take some of your autonomy, some of your own power back. Let's go to June 30th, 2025. The World Health Organization released a report, and it was from the Commission on Social Connection, and this should have really been front page news everywhere, but it wasn't. 1 in 6 people worldwide, which is over 1.3 billion people, are being affected by loneliness. And the report estimates that loneliness is linked to approximately 100 deaths per hour, which is about 871,000 deaths annually. Among young people aged in between 13 and 29, between 17 and 21% report feeling lonely, with the highest rates among teenagers. In all of that, it's pretty daunting, but here's really what gives me hope, and it is this. 1 in 6 people means that you are not alone in feeling alone. So if you've been struggling with loneliness, if you've been thinking that something is wrong with you, well, I can sit here and tell you that there isn't. You're experiencing something that is affecting 1.3 billion other humans on the planet right now. This is a systemic problem. This is not a personal failure. Now I want to talk about something very interesting. Dr. Jean Twenge at San Diego State University analyzed data from over 1 million students across 37 countries. School loneliness increased in 36 out of 37 countries between the years 2012 and 2018. That is very interesting, and this data tells us something crucial. This isn't about you being inadequate. This is about a global shift that has happened to all of us, and happened to all of us together. So that means that we can fix it. Now we get to the darkest part of all of this data, and this is all verified through the CDC statistics. But I'm sharing this because if we understand the depths of this problem, well, it helps us to then appreciate the power of the solution. The suicide rate among young people aged 10 to 24, it remained stable through the years 2001 through 2007, but then something shifted, something changed. From 2007 through to 2021, the rate of suicide increased 62%, from 6.8 deaths per 1,000 people to about 11. And it gets much worse for teenage girls. According to the 2021 Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 30% of female high school students, well, they seriously considered attempting suicide during 12 months before the survey. And that number is up 24.1% in 2019. And that is just the ones that reported. Think about that. Nearly 1 in 3 teenage girls has seriously thought about ending her life. Well, that begs the question, what was it that happened in 2012 that triggered all of this? Well, Dr. Twenge identified it, and that was the year smartphone ownership hit 50% in America. This was the year that social media reached critical mass among teenagers. In all of that, there is an encouraging part, and it is this. We know where the problem started. We know when it started. We know what the cause is. And when we know those things, that means that we can start to reverse it. If the problem has a clear beginning, it can have a clear end, but we need to be intentional. And look, I walked you through some pretty heavy statistics right now about screen time, about mental health, and about what technology is doing to our brains. And speaking of screens, this episode is brought to you by Lumia Label. They are blue light glasses reimagined. And here's the deal. One unisex frame, you can wear it 4 different ways. There's 3 magnetic lenses. You can switch from blue light to polarized lenses in yellow or blue or black. And here is the truth. If we're staring at screens all day, which if we're being honest, most of us are, blue light is actually messing with our circadian rhythms, it's straining our eyes, it's actually even disrupting our hormones. And this half gold frame comes with everything that you need. The blue light blocking lens helps to reduce digital eye strain, it helps to improve your focus, and it helps to support better sleep. The retro yellow lens enhances contrast and sharpness in low light conditions, which is perfect for late nights or deep work sessions. And the timeless blue lens is a bold, fashion-forward shade that allows personality while filtering brightness. So head to LumiaLabel.com and use the code ONTheRecord for $20 off. That is LumiaLabel.com and use the code ONTheRecord. Because taking care of your eyes is just one small step in taking care of your whole self, and every single step counts. Now, let's talk about what's happening inside of your brain when you actually scroll and how we can start to rewire it. So what's actually happening? Well, let's talk about something called the dopamine hijack and how to actually break free from it. So we've pretty much established the statistics, but why is it that social media is causing so much loneliness and depression? To understand that, we need to talk about dopamine. And most importantly, we need to understand that our brain is incredibly adaptable and that it can be damaged, but it can also be healed. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain. It's a chemical messenger that basically drives different motivations, drives rewards and pleasure. But here's what most people don't understand. Not all dopamine is created equal. Real dopamine, that's the stuff that you want, it comes from authentic experiences. It comes from face-to-face conversations, physical achievement, meaningful work, and genuine human connection. These produce what neuroscientists call a tonic dopamine, which is a sustained, steady release that creates lasting satisfaction. Let's talk about fake dopamine. Now, fake dopamine comes from other sources. For example, digital substitutes, likes, hearts on social media, the infinite scroll and autoplay, push notifications and red badges, engagement metrics, streaks. These produce phasic dopamine, which is basically like rapid spikes and crashes that really create this craving without the end satisfaction. So basically, phasic dopamine is like junk food for your brain. Social media platforms, they use something called variable ratio reinforcement. This is the same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. When you post something and you don't know how many likes you're going to get or when they arrive, sometimes maybe you'll get 10 likes, maybe 100,000, or maybe none. This is the unpredictability hook. Your brain releases dopamine not when you receive the reward, but in anticipation of the reward. So you keep checking, you keep scrolling, you keep refreshing, not because it feels good, but because your brain is chasing that next potential hit. Former Facebook president Sean Parker, he admitted this in 2017, and in his words, and I quote, "It's a social validation feedback loop, exactly the kind that a hacker like myself would come up with because you're exploiting the vulnerability of human psychology." Here's part of what might sound discouraging, but stick with me for a second because it's actually incredibly hurtful. Excessive social media use doesn't just fail to satisfy you, it actively makes it harder to feel satisfied by something else. Repeated exposure to high dopamine activities down-regulates the same dopamine receptors in your brain. So your brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine over time, which requires more and more stimulation to achieve the same effect. It's basically like tolerance, like with alcohol or with drugs. You know what I'm talking about? When you finally put your phone down and you try to engage with the real world, everything else just feels more muted. Real conversations seem slow, real activities seem boring, real relationships require way too much effort. But here's the beautiful part, the part that should fill you with hope. This is why the Hunt study findings are so powerful. When participants reduced social media use to just 30 minutes per day, they weren't just using their phones less, they were actually allowing their brains to recalibrate to real-world dopamine sources. After 3 weeks, face-to-face interactions started feeling more rewarding. And here's the thing, your brain can heal itself. Your dopamine receptors can regenerate, and real life, really, it can feel good again. You just need to give it 3 weeks. There is one more critical piece to this puzzle, and that is pseudo-social relationships. Understanding this will help you reclaim your real relationships. A pseudo-social relationship is one that gives you the feeling of connection without actually a reciprocal human reaction. It's this parasocial relationship with influencers that you follow. It's like keeping up with friends by watching their stories without actually talking to them. These pseudo-social relationships activate the same brain regions as real social connections. Your brain gets just enough of a social hit to quiet the loneliness alarm, but it's not enough for actual connection to meet your genuine need for human relationships. Social media exploits the ancient neural circuits that have evolved to detect social connection. It provides signals of connection, faces, voices, reactions, recognition, but without one key thing: the substance. And this is the paradox of the loneliness epidemic. Here's what this means. It means that we have the capacity for real connection right now. And those neural circuits that are being exploited, they're powerful, they're primed, and they are ready to go. But you need to redirect them to real people, real conversations, real presence, and real dopamine. When you do, the reward will be greater than any notification that you could ever get. The loneliness epidemic is very real, but listen to me carefully. You are not broken, you are not weak, you are not failing. You are experiencing exactly what 1.3 billion other people are walking through right now. And just like them, you can get better. So starting today, starting right now, here is my challenge to you. Try the 30-minute experiment for just 1 week. I'll do it with you. Set your phone limits right now before you close this video. 30 minutes total across all social media apps per day. And then let's watch what happens. You may feel restless at first. It's like you want to grab your phone and check. That is very normal. That is the withdrawal. Real life will start competing with the digital life again. And by week 3, you may not even recognize yourself anymore. And the best part is this: you are not doing this alone. Thousands of people have already taken on this challenge and the results are very real. So drop a comment below. Let me know, are you going to do this 30-minute challenge with me? I'll be checking the comments and I will be cheering you on. Let's go off the record for a second. Everything that I just showed you, the studies, the statistics, the neuroscience, this is all verified, this is all real. It's all very important, but there is something deeper that I want to talk to you about. This is something that the data can't fully capture. And I do think that this is the most important part. The fundamental difference between real life and online life isn't just about dopamine, it's about feeling. In real life, you have to feel things. You can't just block someone when the conversation gets uncomfortable. That is what makes us human. That is what builds character. That is what creates real connection. Because love isn't just easy moments. It's not just Instagram-worthy highlights. Real love is staying in the room when conversations get hard, and real friendship is walking through conflict instead of just ghosting, and real community is feeling uncomfortable and choosing to stay anyway. This isn't just my opinion, and if you're a person of faith, you may know this verse. This is from Genesis 2:18. It says this: "It is not good for man to be alone." So even in paradise, in the Garden of Eden, God knew we needed somebody else, right? This is not just a curated version of each other. This is not just a highlight reel. This is the real, messy, complicated version. And I love the verse. It says, like, as iron sharpens iron. That's a verse in Proverbs. One person sharpening another, right? They're keeping you accountable. They're calling you up. Think about that. There's little sparks. There's friction. It's maybe loud. It's uncomfortable. It's messy, but it is necessary. And you can't sharpen iron through a screen. It means that you can't really be refined by people you only interact with through carefully crafted or curated comments. You need that friction. You need someone to look you in the eye and tell you the truth, to walk with you, even when it's not easy. And you need to do the same for them. And that is really the crux of what it is that makes us human. That is what builds real character. It's a beautiful thing. And by the way, guys, I very much understand what it is to feel lonely. I moved to Miami 2 years ago by myself, and I didn't know anybody, literally anybody. And I got plugged into a church. I met like-minded people who actually wanted to spend time with me, wanted to get to know me. And I started serving in church, and some of my best friends in the whole world, some of the best people that I've ever met, including my husband, I met him there. And it has been such a pivotal moment for me. It marked me, right? I found real community in a major city, and it's not always easy. So I would challenge you to do that. Show up in real life with all its mess, because that is really where the real connection happens. That is where real love is forged, and that is where you become fully human. If you found this video valuable, if it changed how you think about social media and connection, make sure you're following this page, join the family. There's a link right there, click it, and you'll get notified every time we go live, which is every Thursday and Sunday. And join our community. This is a community that supports each other, that remembers what real connection feels like. All right, friends, I will see you in the next episode.